Hello there and welcome to another race here in Delta T Racing. Tonight we're going to be having a spectacular race around Bahrain, as it will be the Bahrainian Grand Prix here in Season 12. We are currently racing in Division 1 and hopefully we're going to be having a good race here around Bahrain. We had a pretty decent race last week around Saudi Arabia as well, and hopefully that is going to reflect here in Bahrain as well. As Gunnar now coming down the straight, DRS wide open. We might want to go on board with the Ferrari driver. Ferrari not necessarily doing great in the Constructor Championship. Gunnar now heading into turn 2, fast left-hander, then a fast right-hander, turn 3. And we've got turn 4 coming right up. And that's going to be a fast right-hander as well. Maybe a little brakes for the Ferrari driver, touching the curb on the inside. A good exit is needed, and we saw Lewis Hamilton cut that corner every now and then. Heading into turn 5, heading into turn 6, and then we've got that tricky turn 7. Hard braking zone, a little bit of a U-turn. And then the most difficult section here around Bahrain, in my opinion, turn 9 and turn 10. Just going to be an awkward line coming through turn 10. Beautiful line, and a little toe now from Reliot for Gunnar. Coming down the straight goes Gunnar. Oh, what is happening here? Are they impeding each other? I'm not sure. Well, this isn't going to be a good lap for Gunnar as he backed out of it. Brandon now on a fast one as well. As we're heading into sector 3 for the Mercedes driver. He's going to be right behind the Ferraris, coming down that long right-hander. And that is not a very good overtaking opportunity, but usually a lot of guys tend to crash coming through that long right-hander because you've got that curb on the inside. You definitely don't want to clip that, because when your tires are overheating, you're going to easily lose the car and spin it into the wall. Coming down the straight now goes Brandon. Will it be a fastest lap for the Mercedes driver? It will not be the fastest lap. Grella is once again with pole time for now, as we still have 12 more minutes in this qualifying session. Let's go on board with Barry Bogadowski. As we're coming down the second straight, DRS wide open for the Williams driver, as he's got that McLaren car right ahead of him. That will be Benny Bono, the only McLaren car in the grid, on the grid tonight. As apparently Stewart and Nexton are both using their jokers for tonight. Both of them are not qualifying, meaning obviously they will be starting last, but they're going to be scoring double points if they do tend to score points during the race. So let's say they are in P7, they're going to be scoring 4 points. No, not 4 points. Wait, 10 can 1, 2, 3. No, I don't even know. 2, 4, 6. He's going to get 12 points for the team, because obviously usually he scores 6, but double points will be 12. So that's good for, either Stewart or Nexton, whoever gets in P7, obviously. A couple of guys now coming across the line. Miyagi with once again a good qualifying lap. I'm quickly going to take a break. I'm just going to grab some water because my throat is being a little itchy, and I don't think I can commentate for such a long time without any water. So I'll be back in a second, guys. My apologies. Alrighty, lads, I'm back at it again. And it seems like Miyagi is currently saving the battery. Will he be going for another one? I don't think he will. The tires won't allow that, I'm afraid. Let's see whether he comes into the pits. Yes, indeed he does. So we're going to switch over to somebody else on track. Very good, with a good qualifying there, 129.0. That's going to place him about 8 tenths behind pole time, which is not too big of a difference. Obviously, with similar cars it is. But we do know that Bury every now and then is a little further behind, so this is a good qualifying for the Williams driver. As we've got two drivers coming down the straight. One is going to be the Aston Martin, being Waza. He's going to start his qualifying lap pretty soon. And Waza has been pretty strong during the last couple of qualifyings. So let's see whether he's going to bring the same power onto the Bahrainian Grand Prix. Grelis is already leaving the session. Unsure what's up with that. There's Waza now coming through turn 1. Into turn 2 he goes. And he's going to clip the curb beautifully. Heading into that long straight here. Good overtaking opportunity as well, where the guys will be able to use the DRS. Apparently Aston Martin is sponsored by TikTok. I didn't know that. You can see that on the top of the wheel. I didn't know they were sponsored by TikTok. That's actually quite mind-blowing, if I'm being honest. Into turn 7. I know we've got turn 8 and turn 9 being that beautiful corner section there. A lot of curb taken by Waza. Let's put the lap data on screen as well. Coming into turn 9, it's usually an awkward line coming through there, but guys usually tend to make an overtake coming down the inside, around the outside, something like that. Waza now coming down the fast left-hander, a lot of curb taken there, wants to have a good exit, and seems like he does. And then you don't want to clip the curb on the inside. You're barely gonna see anyone do that. Every now and then, sometimes drivers do tend to go for the curb on the inside, but obviously they know better. They're not going to aim for the curb on the inside. You're going to try and leave a couple of centimeters in between the curb and yourself and your tires, obviously. As Waza now comes down the straight at 129.1, only a P12. A little disappointing there for the Aston Martin, as Berserk now comes across the line as well. A couple of guys here in the top 5 on an outlap, as the first driver will most likely be Brandon. He's going to give a little tow to his teammate. His teammate is currently in P8, Joe Hayward. Oh, he's on a fast one. He is up on his time heading into sector 3 by about a 10th and 300ths. As he now comes down the straight, he will be able to give a little tow to Brandon as well, who's going to start his outlap pretty soon. So let's see what Hayward can do coming around the last corner. Beautiful exit for the Mercedes driver, and this will definitely be an improvement, maybe by about 2 or 3 positions. And is only going to put himself in P7. And here you've got that little tow for Brandon. Hayward is going to go down the inside. He's going to let Brandon go through. And that's going to be beautifully done by the Mercedes team. A little tow given to both the drivers, as Brandon now coming down the straight. Into turn 3 he goes. A little lockup as well. You can hear the tires screeching. Into turn 4, into turn 5. Up on his time by about a 10th right now. And that's going to be close to pole time. Just needs to improve a little bit more here in Sector 2 and Sector 3. And how well will Brandon do? Will we be once again seeing a Grelis versus Brandon battle like we saw in the races previously? In the previous lap races is what I meant to say, but I haven't been talking English in quite some while, so it's only when I do commentary, actually, that I speak English every now and then. I do type in English for King of Leagues, obviously, but that's not important here. Brandon coming down the last straight, heading into the last corner as well. I'm not sure if I should see this as 2 corners or 1 corner. You've got that corner and then you've got a little bend. Is that a corner as well? As he does improve by about a 10, puts himself in P2 right ahead of Gunnar, but it won't be good enough for a pole time. And 128.2 is the pole time by Grelis. And will we be seeing the Alpine driver? Oh no, it's Miyagi now coming down the straight with a 128.1. That's going to be pole time for now. Maybe Benny Bruno can do something about that. He just started his qualifying lap. He doesn't have much ERS saved in the tank, so does that mean he just finished off his... Oh, and this is going to be a little slipper there by the McLaren driver, so that won't be an improvement, I'm afraid. Oh, he's up by 4/10. That is strange. How is he up by 4/10? He lost so much time there coming out of turn 4. Still managed to gain that much time. Means that he would have been able to get into a top 5 position maybe, because with a 410 improvement, he puts himself already around P8. And I think he definitely lost about 1 or 2 tenths there, having that little slipper. How much time is he up heading into Sector 3? Not much ERF left in the tank. 6 tenths already. Look at that. Benny Buno pushing around the Bahrainian track. If I'm not mistaken, it's called the Bahrain International Circuit. And now he's going to cut the corner rather aggressively. Might have lost a bit of speed. And he comes back into the pits. He was up by 6 tenths. How is that? Probably a mistake by the telemetry, because otherwise you wouldn't come into the pits, would you? Kenji up on his time by about 3 tenths. That's going to be good for a top... Well, for now, a top 13 position. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to gain some more time here heading into Sector 2 and Sector 3. A little tow from the guy ahead of him. That will be a Mercedes driver. No, a Williams driver. Mercedes engine. He doesn't have much ERS left in the tank. And I do think that these guys need to think about where they're going to use the ERS. Because now Kenji, obviously, he used everything in Sector 1. Which is explaining why he would gain 3 tenths. Then in Sector 2, he lost about 2 tenths. So, yeah, now he's only going to be up by about 1.5 tenths. Coming around the last corner goes the Kick Sauber driver. How much time is he going to gain? It won't be much, I'm afraid. Only 2 tenths, which will still put him in P14. Will Mikey hasn't managed to set a time on the board yet as he comes across the line right now. P15. Push the skipper 1 position down. Grell is on a fast lap right now. And this might be his only chance at pole position tonight. As you've only got 1 chance ERS-wise to... Oh, and he's down by about 2 tenths already heading into Sector 2. That first lap he's done actually was a perfect lap for the Alpine driver. Because right now he definitely lost a bit of time there in Sector 1. A lot of rotation there coming through turn 9 because he took the curb on the inside. And you usually don't see a lot of drivers take that curb that aggressively like Grelis did. But apparently Grelis prefers to go onto the curb and gain better rotation. Does improve in Sector 2. Oh, and he invalidates as well. Does he have enough ERS left in the tank? I'm afraid he doesn't. And he's going to have to come back into the pits. And that will be his qualifying. Or is he going to go for another one? I don't think he has enough ERS saved. No, he's going to come back into the pits. He knows that he needs all of the ERS he can. And that will be qualifying over for the Alpine driver. So are we going to be seeing Miyagi in pole position tonight? Brandon is on an outlap. That's going to be a dangerous one. Needs to improve by about 2 tenths to be able to grab pole position. Actually, 3 tenths. Gunnar might be one of the challengers as well. How much time is he gaining heading into Sector 2? About 1 tenth. That will be good for a top 3 position. Maybe even a top 2 position. You never know. Sector 2 is where Grell has gained a lot of time on the other drivers. As he will get a little tow from the Mercedes driver if... is that Brandon? No, it's not Brandon. It's another driver. It's Joe Hayward. And Joe actually doesn't need to leave any room for Gunnar. And this is going to cause some issues for the Ferrari driver because a lot of dirty air coming through turn 10, coming through turn 11 as well. Then into turn 12, into turn 13. And this is going to cause some issues for Gunnar. Although he does gain about 3.5 tenths. Oh, and this was a beautiful corner, turn 13. How he took that. It was an absolute phenomenal turn. And I think he's going to grab pole position if I'm not mistaken. Fastest second sector. One of the fastest first sectors as well. Coming down the straight now. A little tow from the Mercedes driver. How will he do? And it will be pole time. Improves by about 4 tenths on his very own time. 1 tenth on Mr. Miyagi's time. And that's going to be a qualifying over for the Ferrari driver. How is Miyagi doing? Improving by 66 thousandths of a second. It won't be enough. Can he gain some more here in Sector 3? Brandon not enough to grab himself a pole position. Only puts himself in P2. What can Miyagi do? Will it be pole time for the Greek driver? I'm afraid it will not be a pole time. Only 300ths of a second as Benny Buno now came across the line as well. As we've got 4 drivers within 1/10 of each other. And what a crazy qualifying this has been already. Connor up in his time as well. 2/10.5. That will put him in P6, pushing Joe Hayward 1 position down. How much time is he going to gain here in Sector 3? Coming down the straight goes Connor. And it will be a P6 for the V-Carb driver. What will Melboy be doing? Not up in his time. It will only be a P8. But still a good qualifying from the Williams team. Melboy in P9. In P8 actually. And Barry Bogarowski in P9. Pole position goes to Gunnar in the Ferrari car. And that is quite of a surprise to me, if I'm being honest. Miyake in P2. Brandon in P3. Benny Buno with a surprising P4. Then we've got Grelis with a surprising P5 as well. We can say that. He's been consistently been in the top 3 during qualifying. So this is quite of a surprise for me as well. Connor in P6, Joe Hayward in P7, Nelboy in P8, Barry in P9, and then we've got Reliot in P10. Further, we've got Honey Badger, Berserk, Waza, Kenji, Skipper, Lil Mikey, Stewart, and Nexton all the way at the bottom of the grid. And that will be your qualifying here in Bahrain. Now the guys are going to get a bit of time to put the right setup on the car, put the right strategy on their cars. Well, first of all, think about the right strategy, because that is an important one as well. But it's still a question about which strategies the drivers are going to run. Usually you want to run the harder compound at the beginning of the race and then the softer at the end of the race. Although, would that be smart? I don't know. Would that be smart? I think it might be smart. The problem is that when you're switching on to the softer compound at the end of the race, you're going to be in the middle of the traffic, and then you're going to have to try and make it a lot of overtakes. So you might want to start on the softer compound. That is a good idea, especially with the amount of train work here around Bahrain. The guys will be using a lot of DRS overtakes as well. So let's see whether that's going to be the case here in Bahrain. I'm just quickly going to take a sip of my water, because I feel like my throat is going to blow up. And we might quickly want to look at the standings for Division 1. The problem is that my phone is almost going to die. So Joe Hayward is apparently the championship leader for now. Grill is in P2 after a race win in Saudi Arabia last week. P2 last week went to Nexton. He actually got a pretty decent result for the Red Bull team as well. And then we have Stewart in P3 last week. He's going to be all the way in P8 in that Drivers' Championship. Now looking at P2, P3, and P4 in the Drivers' Championship, it goes to Grelis, Miyake, and Waza. A really surprising result for Waza there. I didn't expect him to be anywhere near the top 4, but apparently he is. He is about 5 points behind, so that is a good result. Obviously, he was in P1 after the first race in Brazil. But he scored double points there, so he got 30 points in total. Last week he didn't get any because he got 14th. So it just depends on how many points Nexton is going to score tonight as well. Because if he gets the top 3 position, he's going to score 30 points as well. And I'm sure that is going to be the most anyone could score. I mean, obviously the most is 50, but the chances of that happening is rather slim. We've got Stewart as well, who's currently in P8, but he's going to be scoring double points for tonight. How many positions is he going to gain? I'm not sure, but hopefully it's plenty for the Alpine driver, as he's starting on the soft tires. He's the only one starting on the soft tires as well. Apart from that, anyone else is starting on the mediums or the hard tires. Obviously not the wet tires, because it's not raining in Bahrain, and the chances of that happening is rather slim. All the way from P1 to P5, we've got drivers on the medium tires, and then we've got Connor on the hards. Hayward on the mediums. Then we've got Nellboy on the hards, Barry on the mediums, Aurelian on the hards, and then we've got Honey Badger, Berserk, and Waza on the mediums, Kenji on the hards, Skipper on the mediums, Lil Mikey on the hards. We talked about it earlier. Stewart on the soft tires, and then Nixon on the medium tires. So that's going to be your strategy split here for tonight. And the most likely scenario is that all the guys who are on the medium tires are going to switch on to the hard tires, and vice versa. Because I'm quickly going to listen to the live stream to see if my microphone is okay. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's not bad, but my voice is a little broke as well. Alrighty, everyone has put themselves on the starting grid. We're going to be ready to race pretty soon. And it's going to be pedal to the metal for these guys in Bahrain. It is the third race of Season 12 here in Division 1 in Delta T Racing. The DRS is disabled, as obviously the guys will not be able to use DRS in the first lap. We're already going to go on board with Mr. Miyagi. It's 5 red lights, and away we go. A really bad start for the Greek driver there. Almost lost his car, as Brandon is now going to go around the outside. Well, Mr. Miyagi will shoot it down the inside. No, because Benny Buno is there, making his way into the top 3. As Grillis now gains the position on Benny Buno as well. Around the outside, he is of that McLaren car, and Grillis will take the top 3 position. As Gunnar is now slowly running away already, 1.1 tenths in between himself and the Mercedes driver. Benny Buno now has to leave enough space for Grillis to get past. Around the outside he goes. And up 2 positions he goes already. Stewart with a good race already after a no qualifying, as Honey Badger now shoots his way into the top 10. Tries to make a move down the inside, backs out of it again, as Waza gained 3 positions so far. Good comeback race from the Aston Martin after a pretty disappointing qualifying already. As you might want to go on board with Joe Hayward. He's right up that ass of Mr. Miyagi. Taking a curb on the inside. Slowly snooping away a little bit of time, but is it going to be enough to make a move coming down the second straight? It is not. A yellow flag. A Berserk drops back all the way to P18. Now down the straight goes Joe Hayward. Will it be enough? ERS wide open. No, he's not using any. He needs to save everything. And this is what I was talking about. You know, that train work. You've got a train all the way from P2 to P11. As Gunnar now gets the fastest lap on those medium tires of 133.7. Started on the medium tires, trying to not lose any positions at the start of the Grand Prix, and I think it worked quite well. Waza and Reliot now having a little scramble with each other, although Waza does take the position. The guys will be able to use the DRS now, as Hayward was really close to Mr. Miyagi. And what a bad start from the Greek driver here as well. Dropped 3 positions so far. Waza and Connor now having a battle with each other. Waza, who decided to go for the inside line, and he managed to make a position out of it. Let's go back to the front of the pack. Grill is now on the tail of Brandon, and he will be able to use the DRS later on. Brandon, who's a little further away of Gunnar, so he won't be able to grab the DRS. 1.7 seconds already. And here comes Grelis with a good exit coming out of turn 9. He might be able to make up a position. He saves every ERS he's got, and he's not going to drain it here coming down the straight. He's going to have to wait for that longer start-finish straight where he will be able to use the DRS, where he will be able to abuse that ERS as well. And it seems like there's a little gap forming here between Waza and Barry Bogorovsky as well. Barry with some decent pace, trying to keep up with the guys ahead of him as he's battling against some very big names here in Delta T Racing. Benny Buno, one of the faster guys here race pace wise. Coming down the straight now, Gunnar with another fastest lap. Benny Buno, and this is what I was talking about, the fastest race pace. Although Grelis is going to go for a move down the inside of Brandon there. Side by side they go. Oh, Benny Buno almost taking out Brandon, as it seems like Brandon tried to go a little slower into that corner to make a switchback work. But Benny Buno is now under attack from behind by Mr. Miyagi. Around the outside he goes. Here comes Joe Hayward. Oh, and Mr. Miyagi leaves enough room down the inside for Joe Hayward to make a move. Side by side they go. Though Joe Hayward does back out of it. Let's go back on board with Brandon here, losing a bit of time. 7/10 already to the Alpine driver. And it seems as if Grelis has a little more pace here, catching up to Gunnar as well. Brandon now losing a lot of time here in Sector 2. As Benny Buno is trying to find his way around the Mercedes driver as soon as possible. All these guys in the top 4 currently on the medium tires, as well as Mr. Miyagi, obviously. Waza not necessarily keeping up with Barry Bogorovsky. Nexton making up a position as well. Stewart now 5 positions gained, as well as he makes up an overtake on Honey Badger. Honey Badger, who seemed to go a little bit off track there, trying to avoid any collisions with Stewart. Nexton is really trying to push for those extra points. You know, whenever you're going to be scoring some double points, you want to be in the top 5 at least, because that's where you're really going to gain the most amount of time, the most amount of points. Grelis with a 131.7. That's going to be the fastest lap so far. Gained about 5/10. Oh, and Brandon drops back to P5. This is going to be a 3-way battle heading into turn 1. Benny Buno maybe with a switchback. Is there going to be an opportunity for the McLaren driver? Seems like it is. Brandon now on the tail of Benny Buno as well. Here comes Benny Buno defending the inside line. No, Brandon is going to go for it anyway. Oh, and he almost takes out the Haas driver. Brandon is going to make up a position. And now Barry Bogorovsky finds himself in a favorable position down the inside of Joe Hayward. Oh, and he pushes him wide. I think Joe Hayward saw that coming from miles away because he backed out of it immediately. And now the guys behind Joe Hayward are catching up rapidly. You can see Waza shrank his gap from 2 seconds to 1.1 seconds already. Barry Bogorovsky making up a position, and it seems like Benny and Joe Hayward had a collision with each other. Here comes Waza on the tail of Joe Hayward as well, but it's not going to be a move. Barry Bogorovsky now on the tail of Brandon as well, and this is probably the best position that Barry Bogorovsky has gotten in this season already. Honey Badger on the tail of Stewart, but Connor is way closer. He's going to be able to use that DRS, but so is Waza. DRS wide open coming down the straight. Is Joe Hayward coming into the pits? No. Is anyone going to make a position? Connor maybe. He's really gaining time on Reliot. Is he going to go for the move down the inside? Yes, indeed he is. He saw a gap and he went for it. He's going to make up a position maybe with a switchback. No, had a really bad exit there. Nexton up a position. Honey Badger drops back to P12. We knew that already. It's someone else who dropped that many positions. And now Honey Badger has to do is basically make it difficult for Stewart, because Stewart is going to try and chase down Nexton as well, trying to keep up with him. Although Honey Badger now losing a bit of... Oh, and we saw a wing there. Who was that wing from? Nexton losing a position to Stewart. Defends the inside line. Stewart is not going to go for it. And was that the Red Bull's draw? Oh, look at that. Honey Badger with a deep lunge coming from miles away. Defends the inside line. Kenji is going to go for an outside line move. Is he going to make it work? He makes it stick though. Oh, and he makes it work. Look at that, Kenji. The top 5 guys currently still running away, with Gunnar gaining a bit of time now in lap 5 as we're heading into lap 6 out of the 29. Grelis not necessarily enough pace to get back to Gunnar as Waza now comes into the pits. A top 3, no, not top 3 battle, but it's a 3-way battle between Barry Bogorovsky, Brandon, and Miyaki. As Miyaki couldn't keep up with Grelis either. It was Brandon who was actually behind the Alpine driver, just simply didn't have similar pace to the Alpine driver. We saw him push really hard during the qualifying, just couldn't get another lap out of it. I think he even invalidated, if I'm not mistaken, in that last qualifying lap. So that's a real pain in the ass for the Alpine driver, but still a top 2 position is great. He's gonna be... 1 second. He's gonna be in the lead of the Drivers' Championship, but I do understand you want to try and get that race win here around Bahrain. It's a very prestigious race as well. It's usually the first race of the Grand Prix, of the F1 Grand Prix as well, so... Of the F1 Grand Prix, of the F1 calendar, obviously. We might want to look at Elliott here as he's really up the tail of the Mercedes driver. Is he already going to try and make a move? I wouldn't go for it. DRS is not enabled, but the guys are able to use a lot of ERS coming down that penultimate corner. Down the straight we go. DRS wide open. Oh yeah, and he's gonna make quick and easy work out of this. Down goes Elliott and back onto the racing line he goes. Looking at a very heated battle between Kenji and Stewart as well. Nexton, who found his way into the top 8 already. 10 positions gained. And what a race from the Hungarian driver. Oh, and look at that. Connor going for a move. But Nexton saw that coming. He was able to react to that move quite well there, keeping the position. But now you're losing a bit of time to Joe Hayward. And this is something they cannot let happen. Brandon on the tail of Mr. Miyagi with Waza now getting a 3-second time penalty. That will be the first penalty of tonight, and probably many more to come for a lot of drivers. And it's just a matter of who gets the least amount of penalties, I guess. Mr. Miyagi now gaining a bit of time on the Alpine driver ahead of him, as he's bringing Brandon and Barry Bogorowski with him. But look at the amount of pace of Barry Bogorowski. This is incredible for the Dutch driver. Here goes Brandon down the inside, and I think this is not necessarily, they need to work together with each other rather than battle with each other. They're now switching positions, not necessarily losing a lot of time to Grillis, about a tenth or two, as they're still around that 1 second and 3/10 mark. Let's go back to Joe Hayward here as he's under attack from behind. Nexton with a lot of pace here in Bahrain, managed to gain a lot of positions already, but this might be one of his best tracks, because otherwise you won't be able to gain that many positions for such short period. As we've got a crash coming out of turn 13 that was Berserk, and it's gonna cause a safety car, and this is favorable for the guys on the medium tires. They might want to switch on to the hard tires to finish off the race on those hard tires as well. Although the chances of that happening is rather slim. I think Stewart is now in a good position. You know, he bumped up from P17 to P11. He's on the soft tires, and he's going to be able to switch on to the hard tires. Was out with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. And let's have a quick look at the tires here. I think it will be hard for Mercedes to both come into the pits, because they're quite close to each other. Gunnar is going to come into the pits, so is Grelis, so is Brandon, so is Miyagi, so is Barry, so is Elliott, and so is Joe. Although Joe is going to be... Oh, there's someone staying out, and that is obviously going to be Connor on those hard tires. Yeah, and this is what I talked about, you know, Joe Hayward, a little time lost there, although not significantly, you know. He's still right behind Elliott, and this is going to be great. Nexton gaining a position as well on Kenji, as he switches on to the medium tires. I'm always thinking about guys going from the hards to the mediums. There's no way you're going to finish the race on 20 level medium tires around Bahrain. There is no chance. That's not possible. They're going to try it anyway. You know, if it works, it works. And they're going to be able to prove us wrong as well. But yeah, I don't think I believe that story, if I'm being honest. And if you're wondering what safety car is currently racing, it's a Mercedes AMG. Lovely car. When I was smaller, I wanted to race that car in real life. I wanted to have it. Although now, I'm not sure if I want this car. Well, obviously I do. If they say, Thomas, do you want this car for free? I'm never gonna say no. I'm always gonna say yes, but I think I would rather have that Aston Martin that is filling in every now and then. But tonight it is the Mercedes. A little disappointing, but yeah, something that is quite understandable. Would that be sponsored? I think it would be, wouldn't it? It is probably sponsored because it would be a good marketing strategy for Mercedes, because everyone would want to buy this car. Oh, Connor now coming into the pits. Daniel in the chat says probably going to do hard, medium, medium, or maybe even hard, medium, soft, since Bahrain is such a abrasive. I've never heard that word before. Apparently, it is abrasive track surface. I've never heard the word abrasive. That is. Thank you very much for widening my vocabulary. Connor, who now drops back to P17. This might have not been a good strategy for the V-Carb driver as he drops many positions. I mean, he was somewhere around P10, P11. This is not great. And the reason that he drops that many positions, even though he came into the pits like everyone else, is because the time behind the safety car is going to make you lose a lot of time. So everyone, whenever everyone came into the pits, they were all just running the Delta, and it's usually a lot faster than behind the safety car. But because Connor was the only one staying out, he had to do a little time behind the safety car, actually a full lap. It's going to make you slow down quite a bit, so it is definitely something you don't want to do as a racing driver. When you do decide to come into the pits, just go into the pits straight away, because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of time and positions like Connor did tonight. And quite a surprise throw of tonight, Nellboy in the lead of the race. As the safety car is apparently already coming into pits, that's good news. Plenty of racing still here tonight in Bahrain. As the guys will have to go a little bit slower, leaving enough space for the Mercedes to come back into the pits. And then they're going to be able to restart this safety car. The safety car restart procedure is quite easy. Just wait until the safety car has come into the pits and then just go straight onto the throttle. And that is exactly what Nellboy is doing here. Little Mikey is quite close though, although Nellboy gaining a lot of time down the straight. Look at that, he's even pulling away, and that's without any toes. Are we seeing any moves down the inside? Apparently the Mercedes is. Joe Hayward making a move on Kenji as well. Down the inside he goes next and couldn't find his way around the Kick Sauber driver. Now Stewart is going to go for a move as well. Side by side they go. DRS is not enabled, although he does keep the position. Beautifully done there by Nexton. A good exit coming out of turn 3. That's going to be moved done. Grella seems to be having a little scramble with Mikey as well. Mikey, who is on 10-lap-old hard tires, he's going to have to come into the pits sooner or later. It's probably going to be a little later than expected. Maybe he's waiting for another safety car situation, and it could potentially happen. Nellboy now with a move on... no, it's Gunnar. It's the other way around. Gunnar going into the lead of the race. And little Mikey is really holding everyone up. This is good news for Gunnar. He can just simply run away at this point. and nobody ever will be able to get back to the Ferrari driver. Little Mikey is definitely doing his part here between the Aston Martin Ferrari deal. Oh, and Nexton drops back to P16. Something has happened to the Red Bull driver. And this is going to be race over for Nexton. I'm afraid it will be. DRS wide open. Although not quite yet now. Rally over the move on Barry Bogorovsky. This little Mikey defending the inside line. And what a defense from the Aston Martin driver. Really able to keep Grellis behind him. Although Grellis with a good exit. Nexton now retiring in the pit lane. That's going to be really unfortunate. Grellis with a move. Around the outside he goes. That's going to be move done. Maybe Brandon can find his way around as well. Maybe Mr. Miyagi as well. No, he has to back out. Oh, and look at that. Elliott now finding his way around Mr. Miyagi. Down the inside he goes, and he makes up that position. Maybe one on Mikey as well. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Mikey is losing positions rapidly. Oh, it's the Williams driver going into the back of Mr. Miyagi. And that was Barry Bogorovsky, who didn't see that Miyagi took a different line, went to the back of the Greek driver, and lost his front wing underway. Miyagi definitely not having a good safety car restart. Dropped many positions, and he's going to have to make them back up. Stewart and Honey Badger now having a battle with each other. Stewart, who does make up the position. Connor going for a move. He backs out as well. Grellis and Brandon are pretty close to each other as well, so we might want to switch over to the position switches real quick. Grellis gained about 2 positions so far, but the biggest position gain is by Kenji. Kenji with a good race. No, it's little Mikey gaining 9 positions. Still has to come into the pits though. Connor and Stewart. Connor going for a move down the inside. He is on the medium tires. Possibly one of the only drivers on the medium tires as well. 3-lap old medium tires. We're looking at Elliott and Kenji both on the mediums. Kenji, where did he come from? He came from nowhere, but he's still on fresh tires. Let's have a quick look whether Grellis is going to be able to make a move on Nelboy here. Coming down the straight. The arrow wide open for the Alpine driver. But he's not going to be close enough, I'm afraid. We're about halfway past this race. We're still about 16 laps to go. As little Mikey is making it difficult for Jay Hayward to get past, but the Englishman got past anyway. Oh, and the little corner cut there for little Mikey. That's definitely going to be a track warning. Oh, look at that. Grellis going for a move on the inside of Brandon. Move done. It's really now coming down the straight. Oh, we're going 3 wide. We're going 3 wide. Although a better straight. Oh, 4 wide maybe. Look at that. Who's going to make it out ahead? Seems like that will be Elliott on the inside of Nelboy. Nelboy just lost 4 positions there. No, 3. He went from P2 all the way to P5. That's not great. Watch out, Grellis. The guy is on a rampage at the moment, trying to demolish everyone on his pad, and the next target will be Brandon. Well, the only target left, because Gunnar is just running away. I think he did enough practice here around Bahrain. He's about 4 seconds ahead. Oh no, they're going 3 wide. Oh yeah, this was never gonna end up well, but I mean, oh yeah, no. Stewart drops back many positions. This was never gonna happen, end up well. Oh, Benny Bruno into the wall. Yellow flag as well. This is No, when he resets back to track, I don't think that's allowed either. I mean, I would have done the same. Don't worry. Here comes Grellis down the inside. Maybe a little switchback from Brandon. That could do wonders. DRS wide open now for the Mercedes driver. Oh no, it's Grellis who gets the DRS. That's a surprise. Benny Bruno with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Will that be a retirement? No, it will be not. Miyake in the battle with Joe Hayward. As Connor is trying to mingle in between them a little bit there. A little snap from Honey Badger. Guess you might want to go back on board with Brandon here on the tail of the Ferrari driver. By the way, it feels like I'm almost gonna fall asleep. I should be sleeping already. Yeah, the last 2-3 days I went to sleep about half an hour ago, so it's a little hard for me right now staying awake. As I was awake pretty early this morning. Here comes Brandon down the straight. Not a DRS opportunity yet, but later on we will be able to see him gain many positions because of that DRS. And this is where the magic happens. DRS wide open now for Brandon as Nelboys. Is he gonna get the DRS? Apparently he was within 1 second. And the guys following each other's slipstream there. Oh, look at that, Joe Hayward. Look at that. What a move from the Englishman. Coming out of turn 3, he just simply had a better exit. Connor now with a move on the Greek driver. Oh, when he loses the car, he's going to be behind him as well. What is that, Daniel? Is that some kind of energy drinks? Because I don't drink any of that stuff. But thank you anyway, buddy. What is that? W Energy. Do me a little promotion story here. Oh no, Stewart gets a 3-second time penalty, and apparently Hayward has a 3-second time penalty as well. Where are the penalties? Ah, here they are. Hayward with a 3-second time penalty, Connor as well, Stewart as well. Then at the bottom of the grid, Waza and Benny Bruno both with 3 seconds as well. As we're gonna see an overtake for Elliott here coming down the straight. Oh yeah, he's gonna go for a move. Look at that. I came, I saw, I praised. What is that song anyway? I don't even know. Connor and Mr. Miyagi having a battle. 3 seconds for Connor now as well, which is going to do him dirty. Kenji finds his way into the top 3. But the Ferrari boys are going to be scoring a decent amount of points here. As Grellis is trying to defend the inside line. Beautifully done by Grellis. And he really races with iron balls, because he doesn't let anyone go through for free. Here he comes, Brandon down the straight. Will that be enough? I don't think it will be. He's been stuck in P5 for quite some time now. Although a chance is opening up right now. 2 tenths behind Kenji. Kenji is slowly losing a bit of space. And a bit of space as well. I mean, he's going down the straight now. Goes Brandon. And once again, a good exit by Kenji. You can really see him gain a lot of time on Grellis and Brandon. Berserker left the session. Maybe an overtake from Grellis on Elliott. Is he going to go for a move down the inside? No, backs out of it. Berry and Honey Badger, though, are having a battle with each other. Oh, no, it's Honey Badger coming into the pits. Why is it not saying that he's coming into the pits? No idea. Oh, and what a switchback from Grelis. I've never seen that. It's sugar-free energy powder, a large choice of flavors, and an option for caffeine-free also available. Just add to water in the shaker and enjoy a gentle boost of energy all day long. Lovely. I'll definitely check it out. The problem is that I just need to eat more fruits, and then I would be able to wake up and do all that sorts of stuff. I just don't eat any vegetables. I don't know. It's probably something I should do, but I don't like the taste of vegetables at all. It is what it is. I do eat kiwis though, which is apparently good for your immune system. I don't even know. But it is a little fact that I don't have a lot of energy. Here comes Grelis down the straight. DRS1 so wide open once again, as Brandon now finally finds his way around Kenji. And here he goes, Grelis in the middle of both Ferrari drivers. Kenji defending the inside line. But it's Brandon who's stealing away that position. Although Kenji's not done with him. Kenji's not done. DRS wide open. It's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Oh yeah, I don't drink any coffee either, Daniel. I just no sugars, no caffeine, just all healthy shit. Well, me eating no vegetables is not necessarily healthy. It's just yeah, I don't know. All I eat is meat. Yeah, a big boy. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. All right, here we go. Miyagi getting attacked from behind by Joe Hayward, and they've been in that position for quite some time now. And Miyagi shouldn't necessarily worry about it too much. I think he's gonna get P6 anyway, because the three guys behind him have 3 seconds of time penalties. Stewart is quite far away. The only guy who could form a rather dangerous situation for Mr. Miyagi is Barry Bogorowski, but he's in P10. He's about 3 seconds behind, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. And he now drops out of the DRS as well. Brandon and Reliot coming into the pits. No, it's just Reliot, not Brandon. Kenji coming into the pits as well. He's going to switch on to the medium tires. Yes, indeed. So you might want to switch on to the strategies here from the guys. Gunnar, Grelis, Brandon, Miyagi, and Hayward all on the hard tires so far. As Kenji was on the medium tires. There was no way that they were going to be able to finish off the race on those medium tires. The only driver still out on track is Connor, but obviously he did himself dirty there, coming into the pits later than everyone else. That he's still in P6, which is a good position, but he's going to have to come into the pits one more time. Really, it came out in about P11. And a two-stopper might not be the way to go here around Bahrain. Definitely a medium-hard or hard-medium strategy. The problem is that whenever there is an early safety car and you start on the hard tires, you know, you're going to have to switch on to the medium tires and then you're a little bit fucked. So it's always a danger starting on the medium tires. On the hard tires, my apologies. The problem is that I'm not seeing any benefits of a hard medium strategy. Look at how far they're away from the top 7. More than 20, no, not more than 20, more than 12 seconds. Honor now coming into the pits as well. It's Hayward on the tail of Mr. Miyagi. This is going to be a battle for P4. Both drivers on the hard tires, and still about 8 more laps to go. Skipper now with a move as well. It's relatively slowly gaining a bit of time on the Dutch driver. Snellboy now, the fastest lap of the race, 131.267. Snellboy finds himself in P14 at the moment, so not a great qualifying there either by Nellboy, but not a great race either. I think he qualified in about P8, wasn't it? It was in the P8, so not great, not bad, is what I should mention. But still, he just lost so many positions tonight, 6 to be exact. And, you know, Benny Bruno, a very unlucky driver as well. He dropped 12 positions, and he was in a really decent position. But then on the other hand, you've got drivers like Stewart who are gaining 11 positions, and they're going to be scoring double points. So this could be 20 points maybe for Stewart if he manages to overtake Hayward. It's just a matter of time to see whether he's going to be able to make that overtake and see whether he's going to be able to get closer as well. With a move on Skipper now, and this might not be very interesting from the Ferrari driver because now Skipper will have the DRS coming down the straight, although he's not necessarily close enough. 8 tenths behind the Ferrari driver. It's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Hayward and Miyagi. Oh, and Hayward goes way too deep. Miyagi with a move now is... Yeah, this is just going to be a two-way battle. Basically a one-way battle because Mr. Miyagi just has to hope that he doesn't crash in the race. And that will be a top 4 position for the Greek driver. Let's go back on board with Hayward here. He should really try and get Stewart back into this battle. And then, you know what he should try? He should try and have Miyagi and Stewart battle with each other, and then he can run away. He just has to slow down Miyagi and then try to hope for a little help from Stewart. Although it does carry some sort of risk because Stewart is now about 2.2 seconds behind. If he gets back Stewart into this little battle, it's going to be a risk of losing that position as well. Hayward decides to go around the outside, brakes a little later, but won't be able to gain a single position. Maybe with a switchback, and he got a good line coming out of turn 2. DRS wide open. As Connor now gets the fastest lap, a 130.2, as he bumps up many positions. Already into the top 8. Who was the other driver? Oh, it was Nexton. He's not going to be able to benefit from that from that Joker tonight. And it must be quite frustrating for drivers to, you know, they're not qualifying. They didn't have any action for quite some time, and then getting crashed out, you know, makes you think, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the Joker? Because you could have just done 18 minutes of qualifying, have your little fun, and then, you know, if although on the other side, you might be frustrated with the fact that you did 18 minutes of qualifying and then your race gets fucked. Although I'm not even sure whether he got taken out or whether he just crashed out himself. 5 more laps to go. Gunnar just came across the line. Oh, Miyagi, this is not a good penalty, dude. You had a P4 in the back, and now it's going to be a battle for P4 between yourself and 2 other drivers. Oh, apparently I switched. As Hayward now finds himself into the top 4. This is going to be a good battle. Really, it is not close enough, although he finds himself on newer tires, so he could simply gain enough time on these guys. Waza and Skipper having a battle. Here comes Honey Badger with a move on the Kick Sauber driver as well. Maybe a little switchback from Honey Badger. No. He's gonna back out of it. Oh, Skipper coming back onto the racing line. Little snap there as well, coming out of turn 7. And he's got a good exit. Look at that. A lot of straight line speed for the Dutch driver, but now Honey Badger is gonna benefit from this. The ear is wide open, ear is wide open. Look at how he's pulling away. What the fuck is that? Jesus, what is that? He's just coming out of the corner. He just seems like a fucking rocket ship. What the fuck? Wait, I wanna see that difference. This is crazy. Look at him pulling away. Look at him pulling away. Look. Oh no, now he isn't pulling away. Typical stuff. You try to explain something and then he doesn't do it anymore. Look, he had a snap and he's not even losing a lot of time. This is crazy. Honey Badger with a move though. DTR is wide open. Oh, there goes my... Oh, Jesus. 1 second. My headset is broke. Alright, my apologies. I'm back at it again. Maybe it was my headset that was broke all along. Jay Hayward with a move as these two are currently having a battle for that top 4 position. And it's Stewart who's also going to be able to have something to say about this. It's a 3-way battle. This could be a tremendous amount of points for Stewart. It could either be, let me think, 16 points, 20 points, or 24 points. So this could mean that Stewart might bump up a lot of positions in that driver's championship. And maybe also constructor-wise, because Alpine is in a really strong position. They just need an extra amount of points from Stewart here. I think Grelis is going to be the championship leader. Depends on how Hayward is going to do. Whether he's going to grab P3, P4. I don't think he's going to grab P3 though. Stewart now with a move on Miyagi down the inside, and that's going to be move done. Oh, and he tries to go past Hayward as well, although has a bad exit. I think Miyagi is not going to go for a move as well. DTR is wide open. Will he be able to make a move? No, backs out of it. Honey Badger and Waza having a battle with each other as well. Look at that. Waza gets no room on the outside. He wanted to go off track, but then decided, you know, I'm not going to do that. Barry Bogorovsky with a very unlucky race. He had a good qualifying in P9. Just simply couldn't do anything with that. I think he also got crashed out, or did he got that broken front wing from braking earlier? Braking later, I think he did. Crashed into somebody. I can't quite think of who that was. Little Mikey with the first 29 of the race. Yes, little Mikey is about 42 seconds behind Barry Bogorovsky. That's not great either. Moving down straight now. 3 Musketeers. Will there be an overtake opportunity? Yes, it will be. Stewart into the top 4 now. And this is just going to be a back and forward battle down straight. There's nothing much going to happen right now. We're just going to see these guys patiently wait and just try to work around the strategy, the DRS strategy as well. Hayward now to move down the inside, even without DRS. Stewart battles back. It's just Miyagi who has to wait. How much ERS do the guys have left? Stewart basically has 0. Hayward has about 40%. And how much does Miyagi have? About 50%. So Miyagi is in a better position. But I'm afraid they won't be able to gain much time coming around the last corner in the last lap anymore, as we're heading into the penultimate lap of this race. Lap 28 out of the 29, and Look at how far Gunnar is. Look at this. Is the top three is just basically racing in the middle of nowhere. They're just not battling with anyone. I think it's now Gunnar having a battle with Benny Bruno. Are they working together with each other? I don't even know. We haven't looked at the top three for such a long time, and there's no real purpose looking at them either. You know, they're just racing. They're just doing their thing, and we don't necessarily have to put any pressure on their shoulders. Although we do have to put a little pressure on Kenji's shoulders. This is currently battling for a top 8 position. Hayward and Stewart now having a battle with each other. Here comes Hayward defending the inside line. Mr. Miyake tried to find his way around Stewart, just couldn't make it happen. And he's gonna have to wait for one more lap. And then down the straight, heading into lap 29 is where it's gonna have to happen for these lads. Barry Bogorovsky and Connor now having a battle as well. Connor, he came into the pits. Unsure what the thought process was there for the V-Carb driver, but I guess he wants an extra point for that fastest lap as well. He just needs to make sure that he's not going to get overtaken by Gunnar, because then he won't be able to grab that fastest lap point. Right, and this is where the strategies are going to start to happen. Stewart now with a move down the inside of Hayward. Hayward is happily going to take that, because now he can simply gain the position again coming down the main straight. And the Stewart won't be able to do something about that, because he's not going to have the DRS coming down the second straight either. I think he carry over that DRS if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Miyagi has plenty of DRS left in the tank, about 70%. Is he going to make quick and easy use out of it? Heading into the last lap of the race. These three are currently battling for a top 4 position. Big points for Stewart on the board, but he wasn't smart. Here comes Miyagi. Sorry, guys. Oh, and look at that. A 3-way battle. Who's going to make it work? Stewart off track. Tried to go for a move, and it's DRS wide open for Stewart now. Apparently, the guys do have DRS in that second straight. And it's Joe Hayward who is currently running away with it. Stewart got left behind. It's still a battle between Miyagi and Hayward. Stewart not close enough at all. 7/10 now for the Alpine driver. What will Miyagi be doing? Will it be enough? A little lock up there as well. DRS wide open now. Has plenty of ERS left in the tank. I think he's going to drain everything on that last straight heading into heading into turn 14. Oh, almost goes to the back of Hayward there. Can he make an overtake already? Around the outside he goes. No, not close enough. This is where it's going to have to happen. A good exit will do wonders. ERS wide open for Miyagi. It's Gunnar already coming across the line. Miyagi is going to drain everything. Miyagi is going to drain everything. Is he going to be able to gain that position? Seems like he does. Stewart trying to go for a move as well, but he loses the position. And Relliot is going to gain... Wait. Relliot is going to gain... Relliot is going to bump up to P4. All of the battling between these guys made Relliot a top 4 position finisher. Barry and Skipper having a battle with each other as well. Coming down the last turn, Barry Bogorovsky snoops away that position from Skipper. And what a race from Elliott. He just gained many positions because everyone ahead of him had a penalty. And he bumped from P7 all the way to P4. And what a race finish from these guys. Elliott's strategy apparently did work, as he gained much time on these guys on those new sets of medium tires. And that's going to be the race finish for you lads. We've done about 29 laps around the Bahrain International Circuit. We're going to be there again next week for you around Qatar, if I'm not mistaken. And all I can say to you is thank you very much. We're just quickly going to go over the results of the race as well, as that is a very important one to look at. I'm doing something very stupid now. Something I do whenever I stress. It's just something I need to stop. I mean, I need to quit with it. Driver of the day is indeed Stewart. He bumped up many positions, came all the way from the back of the grid. But he's going to be scoring double points, and that is good news for the Alpine driver. Here we've got the results of the race. Gunnar in P1, he's going to grab a maximum points. Well, not necessarily, because somebody got the fastest lap. I couldn't quite think who it was. Grellis in P2. Oh, it might have been little Mikey. Grellis in P2, Brandon in P3, and then we've got Reliot in P4, Miyagi in P5, Hayward in P6, Stewart in P7, Kenji in P8, Honey Badger in P9, and we've got a Nellboy in P10. Further, we've got Barry, Skipper, Waza, Connor, Benny Buno, and Lil Mikey. And then we've got our DNFs tonight, Nexton and Berserk. Guys, I would like to thank you very much for watching this live stream. Hopefully, it was enjoyable enough for you to watch it till the end. And all I can say is thank you very much and see you next week. My name is Phoebe Thomas. Have a good night. Bye-bye.